Welcome to Mac Meeka Live.
Welcome to Mac Meeka Live. You know I be loud. Mac said he need to be louder now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I hear your bass now. Okay. Cool. Well, shout out to DJ L, please. James in the building. Thank you, Vontae and Kathy, always
To our
coming
makeshift
through.
bartenders in the back.
Yeah, helping themselves today. But thanks to everybody for coming out, spending, a couple hours with us, because you got here early, but we're going to run for an hour.
Yeah. Y'all can interact too, because we want to ask questions. We want people's opinion too, so just make sure y'all interact with us too, so it's not just us talking the whole time.
I love to talk. I'm just He's like, I know. But how was your week, Mac?
It was pretty good. It's still like limited, with the holidays, there's like closed beaches and stuff. So, I'm just trying to make the most of, what I'm able to do. And, that's pretty much it. What about yours?
Had to turn the mic back on.
I went to the dentist. I had to get a tooth pulled. Went to the dentist last Friday. Went to the dentist on Tuesday.
Oh, you went again?
Yeah, again.
Oh.
Had a tooth pulled. I go back again on Tuesday.
Crazy.
So I guess now they can put the tooth back in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the highlight of my week was the versus battle.
Oh yeah, Jada.
I had to call out a dance class.
Listen.
Thank God it wasn't even going on.
Right. They said Jadakiss was like the drunk, and then Fabulous is on weed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely gonna go with the drinking.
Yo, we definitely was Jada that whole time.
Yeah.
I was watching the whole thing, and I was like, yo, that's us right there. And I was watching it with my cousin. I was watching it with Jay. He was like,
But that's
we were
the
like,
energy
that's
I like
us.
anyway. Yeah.
We just feel ourselves on alcohol.
Smoked out, be like, oh, chill and
Yeah.
shit, like boring.
But Jada was so funny. I feel like he outshined the music even because he was cutting Fab off. He's like, no, wait, hold on. Let me tell you.
That's how you know somebody with tipsy too, though.
And then he was just letting him go. He was chilling. He was on some.
Yeah.
Thank God he wasn't a real drinker. He had the Douce in his cup too. He kept mentioning or whatever, the Ciroc, but he wasn't really crazy. But I was a little disappointed in it because I wanted Fab. I love Fab and I love Jada, so I was waiting for this. But I felt like Fab didn't. He didn't bring out his shit early enough. He just let him.
Well, not early enough though. At the beginning they always wanted to build up, so they tried to save the best five last.
Yeah, the best five, but he could have came out. He has so many mixtapes from Clue days. He could have brought out so much stuff, shit that we don't even know the names of because they was mixtape love. You know what I'm saying? And growing up in New York, that's what.
But I think too, based on the audience, he has to do it for everybody. So everybody who might not have been up from the Northeast might not know all those songs.
But the beats was fire. So I'm saying he could have hung in there. I feel like he went slow. Jada was like, I'm keeping the same energy that it was nice though. It was good to go back to, I love all that music.
Yeah.
So, an hour of that.
But nobody was expecting it to be like that though. I think people thought it was gonna be a little more Fab's way or something like that. But
I thought it would be more of a challenge, but I thought Jada was gonna win.
But I think too, with the personality too, you have two of the personalities there live too, and somebody has a bigger personality, it kinda makes you kinda
Jada took he stole the show. At one point, Fab wasn't even there no more. He was like, walked away. Yo, I think it was Fab's song on, and Jada was in the camera. It was just funny. And then my boy Booth got from behind the DJ booth, and I was like, oh.
Was that Fab's DJ?
Yeah.
Okay,
and that's my homeboy actually in real life. And he DJs for Nicki, he DJs for a few people, Wendy Williams show and everything. But it was weird because just knowing him, it was he came out from behind the booth because he felt like they was losing, he wanted to show, this is a hit, it's a smash.
He came up from behind the booth because Fab was missing.
That's why he did it?
Yeah, he was singing Fab songs.
Yeah, it was out of control. I thought he was wilding for that though. It was when Booth came from behind the DJ booth, oh Lord, everybody smacking their heads. But that was, I said, the highlight. Everything else is really still kind of shut down. I don't like going someplace and having to tell my life story every time you go in, where you been, how is anybody in your family sick? Are you coughing? You sneeze? Nigga, I just want to buy a shirt. So.
Oh, going to the store?
Yeah, going a lot of places, you have to do it.
I haven't really been.
The dentist, you don't have to do it either?
No.
What?
I know him personally, so.
Oh man.
No, you just go in there. They take your temperature.
That's it. They don't give you the rundown. Like, yo, I've had.
No, you fill out paperwork the dentist about what you're allergic to, but no.
Oh my God! Like, now I went to the eye doctor yesterday, and I had to do the whole spiel again. Then I had to go back in just to pick up my contacts. Even I had to go through the spiel again, like legit. 2 hours later, I was like, I just was here. Like,
even
bring
at the
my payment
chiropractor,
back
when I
up.
went to the chiropractor, it's just no. You just use hand sanitizer for you sign in and.
Nah.
Just wear your mask until you go to
It's been OD about. Maybe that's just
they
baby.
they got her at the nail place too, I think.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, yo, I forgot about that. I was like, yo, I had him in my earpiece. I forgot he was on the phone. I'm arguing with him like, bruh, of course I'm hot. You understand? I here on the phone talking. He's like, well, it's 100.3, and I was like, listen.
Meeka was making up excuses.
I had on.
It's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, it was 104 degrees. I feel like my hat was on. It was black. I had a black shirt. Like, I was hot. So I'm standing out there talking to him. When I got out the car, I was like, ooh, this girl trying to go up in there before me, right? So I ran, and I ran, left the car, I ran over there, and then he's like, oh, you forgot your mask. So I went back again. Now I'm still in the heat. I come back and he's like, it's hot. I said, you hot. I was like, bro, I was just standing out here that long. He was like, what, did you walk here? I was like, basically. But I was like, listen, it's just hot. Let me come inside and cool down. And then he was like, I don't know. Because, it's at 100.3.
Yeah.
But I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So then he was like, all right, come here. And he made me stand like in the fucking corner. Like, don't put baby in the corner. Like, he put me in the fucking corner. And then he came back. He came back and it said 100.3 again, but it said it like he came over with me. I was like, you didn't give me time to cool down. Yeah, I got this hot ass hat on. Yeah. So then he walked away, and he came back like literally like a minute later. And he's like, we're gonna try this the last time we're gonna try it though. And I said, that's fine. And then when he took it, it was way down to 98.6. I was like, see, he's like, all right, come on. I was like, whatever. But I actually, and I don't know, let me know if you guys have been beefing about this too. I have older people in my family, and they've been celebrating 4th of July and everything like that. And so last night, I told Mac I got twisted with my cousin Jay again. I got twisted, and I ended up. You heard? I said I can't drink today. It's crazy, but I am. And I got home. Well, not home. Got to my parents' house, and I was like, I can't even drive home. So we staying here, right? And this morning I wake up and they talking about 4th of July with my daughter, talking about what they gonna be grilling and stuff like that. And I was like, hold up. Y'all ain't grilling nothing. My kids ain't celebrating, blah, blah. I was like, we can't keep perpetuating this stuff that we were taught. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's all about Juneteenth now, right? And so they were like, oh, please. You hear one thing, now you on this. I was like, nah. They was going off on me like, I was like, nah, it's not one thing. That's the thing about it, is like, that's the problem with us. This is what I feel like. And, chime in here right now, guys, like, if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. That's the problem with us as a whole. Like, we'll be on something like, no, we ain't buying Gucci. Then,
forget about it.
3-4 months later, we buying Gucci, everybody on, Gucci down. Like, down to their nails, they writing Gucci on their nails. And I'm like, nah, we don't ever stick with something. And I'm always a big fan about supporting. Like, I always say, like, you got something, I'm gonna buy it. Like, you got something, I'm supporting or whatever. Even if I don't wear it, like, if it's not even for me, if it's men's stuff, I will buy it just to support. I got people in my family I can give it to. But I feel like we just, like, we be on it for 1 minute and then we just be off.
Juneteenth has been around. Just a lot of people just aren't aware of it.
Like myself, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. I actually learned about it a couple years ago.
Well, I saw it a couple years ago and wasn't really understanding what Van had actually tweeted about, posted about it on Instagram. One of our friends, and he was like, oh, it was 4th of July. He was like, I no longer celebrate 4th of July. I learned my history. It's all about Juneteenth. And I'll never forget that. And I was like, oh, word? Yeah. But I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought because he was born in June, I thought he was talking about like he only celebrated his birthday as a holiday. So I really wasn't, digging deep.
I feel like people get so used to things that are like the trend.
Tradition.
Tradition and trendy. Like,
yeah.
They're so used to what everybody else like and what everybody else is doing. So when people follow, like for me, I personally feel like I'm a radical in a sense where I'm very like, so none of these holidays really make any sense to me.
I know Tasha agrees.
So I feel
like for you to spend money.
Yeah. I mean, but at the end of the day, like we want to talk about not wanting something that somebody gave to us, but then we would turn around and we would say, well, this thing here is what but I feel like this is tradition and these trends, all of it is not, like, we keep seeing it over and over again. It's like, not really trendy, and it's not really traditional.
And people jump on waves when it's trendy. They jump on the wave, yeah. So
it's like as a culture we have ADHD, like you said.
Yeah.
We'll jump on it
because everything is right now, especially nowadays. Everything is so like for the moment right now that all these people are getting canceled, but then you'll forget about them being canceled in another 3 or 4 months.
Like, what do you mean when you cancel them? Are you putting them in timeout?
I think they mean
don't support that music.
Yeah, like don't support,
and,
but
hit them where it hurts. And
they're supporting them still.
In a sense, I feel like we create this like this thing around them where like something controversial. We also end up like because then they turn around, they could drop a single, and then they have somebody else who's going to support it. Because somebody else will do. Tons of other people who think completely opposite.
True, that's kind of like a Tekashi situation. You know, like, oh, he a snitch, he get canceled, that's and that. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna drop something, everybody gonna love it, and that's exactly what happened.
So it's like, but you have certain voices saying that somebody's canceled, but doesn't mean because you said it, everybody agree. Because Tekashi is a good example of he went live and had got more streams and views on live than a lot of these people.
A lot of people.
And then was able to go number 1, which was weird about his number 1 was he was number 1 last week, but then dropped to 34 this week. That was like weird to me though. I don't see people drop that far, and actually it was like a record of how far you dropped from number 1 to 34. I have no clue how that went.
They wanted to hear that first shit that came out.
It was the first.
And Nicki was on it.
Yeah. So it's like go stream it here.
We heard it and then that's it.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's a hot song, but we also forget about the things that it's like we forget a lot about what we're doing. Like we hear these things and we're like, yeah, like that's nice, but then we also like we get into like a trance. Like music is great in the sense like I love music, but like what music is now, like what we hear is really interesting. Like,
it's not the same. We have that conversation all the time. How we like like late 90s, early 2000s,
that's
type of thing, music, and it felt like it was more storytelling and messages in those songs. And now I feel like, to me, a lot of these artists go into the booth and kind of just freestyle their verse, and it's nothing. It's just like a whole bunch of things that rhyme that are put together, but it's like really not saying anything. And I'm not learning anything about you through your music either. You know?
And they all sounded like they all.
I was gonna say that.
They all sound like high ghosts. They sound like ghosts and they high. You know what I'm saying? Like all the singers. Like back in the day, you knew who was singing that song.
And I was gonna say
that was like, who is this right now? You know what I'm saying? Who's singing this? Is it SZA, Summer, or?
But that's why you have like. Was Pop Smoke, who
I was gonna say
refreshing, but he was refreshing to the ears because he sounded like himself. He didn't sound like nobody else.
You knew who he was.
And everything that he did was kind of like, everybody was like, because he just dropped the album today.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like really appreciate it because he don't sound like nobody else. You know what I mean? Certain people have a distinct voice. He has a distinct voice like DMX. Certain people just don't sound like
But I still think I still think Pop Smoke gonna be really saying nothing too tough still. You know what I mean?
I think the fact one is that he doesn't sound.
He doesn't sound the same. His music doesn't sound the same. Like his music brought me back.
Like lyrical.
I don't think he's a lyrical genius. I mean, that's not where we were going with that.
But he's doing what he's supposed to be doing for this culture. What's happening now?
I felt like his beats I love.
But why are we missing? How come we're missing the people like? How come we haven't had like another Tupac who is kind of like culturally aware and then kind of delivers things through his
Chance the Rapper. We got some people.
We have Chance the Rapper, but Tupac was a little like more influential.
I feel like Tupac was more widely.
He was wide. Tupac was at the perfect time in the music.
Imagine having Tupac now.
Yeah,
he'll be perfect. His message still moves to now.
Oh,
that's what's crazy.
Especially right now.
But like these rappers now, they concerned about the wrong things, and they too high to even worry about what's going on right now.
They got the audience and they hold out. They don't remember the lyrics.
So they don't. Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing about it too. Like they're not even conscious of what's going on around them. So it's like
I just don't like.
But I appreciate Little Baby put out a song, so I appreciated that. And I liked it actually. I bought it. I appreciated his song that he put out because I feel like all these people have these different platforms, but a lot of them aren't doing anything. You don't have Self-Destruction Records anymore. You don't have like.
Which one? Big Picture?
All in the same game.
Who?
So, Big Picture?
Yeah, the one he's talking. Yeah, he released it like a week or two ago. Yeah, that one. You don't have We're All in the Same Gang. Like none of those type of songs where these are times or freedom. They had remember the one all the R&B singers and stuff. There was a period of time where like artists would come together and we are the world. Like we'll come together and do songs like that and to inspire, uplift, whatever. And these kids,
but they privileged now that they didn't go through the stuff like Tupac and them went through. You know what I'm saying?
But the crazy thing is, you're able to see it a lot more though. We wasn't seeing it as much.
But they don't care if they not going through it. They don't care about the rest of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Tupac, he.
Well, his mom too, though.
His mama too, yeah.
She was a black
and that's how they was raised, also. And then this culture nowadays, even if you look at the young kids, if they not going through it, they really don't care about nobody else.
Yeah.
I told that to my daughter all the time. Like just because it's not affecting you does not necessarily mean like it's a rap. Yeah.
Well, I feel like people are able to do that because it's easy for them to separate themselves because they find a lot of comfort in these things like this music. Even though it's not really saying anything, it's very stimulus, and that's what it's about. Because a lot of the stuff is really catchy. Like sometimes I find myself listening to a lot of stuff I probably really want to listen to.
That's true.
And so we have to give it its respect in that sense, but then we also have to actually teach people to when they're listening to things, listen to what you're listening to and hear what you're hearing.
And so I had that conversation again. I find myself like we be on the same page. I do that with my kids a lot. Like my youngest one time, they doing these TikToks all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And she shows them to me, so her page is public, but she has to ask me like it's okay to post whatever. So she shows me the dance, whatever that she does, and she learns them fast. Mm-hmm. And one of them, did I tell you back? But I think I told Larry for sure, DJ L Blaze. Like one time she was doing a TikTok, and part of the song it was like, yeah, like to party, right? And so she does it. And I go, and I said, bitch, what you, and then she's like, what? Like, I think I learned that in 1 minute, like she was telling me. I said, yo, London, do you know what this means? And she said, yeah, she said, I like to party. Like, do you miss it when I said in the dance, she goes, yeah, I like to party, right? And so I said, do you know what party means? She's like, yeah, party. Like, I said, no, that's about drugs. This is why you gotta know what you're like dancing to or singing about, because had you just posted this, I'd have been mad as hell, like, yeah, I'm partying, whatever. So it was just crazy because I say this all the time. You gotta know what you're saying, what something means, especially back in the days. We always had to decipher music. Like I come from a Nas era. Like these people are so lyrical. Like they wanted to. You had to
look it up.
Listen, know what they talking about and the, the analogies and all the metaphors. It was just so crazy. So now I think I find.
Not the generation down.
You're like, they're going downtown, but then you got older. It's like, they're going downtown.
Everything went like this all of a sudden because it was people everything just took a flip because all of a sudden where did these people go? Like, what happened? So it's like we look at like what's happening now, like where we are, like these spaces, and it's kind of like
I did hear somebody. I don't remember what show I was watching. It might have been Grown Up Hip Hop, but one of these shows. Somebody was in the studio, and I think I don't even want to say that was the show, but whatever show it was, an older person came in like, "Yo, what are you even singing about? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, when I grew up, like." He was on my DM.
But the young kids feel like.
And they said,
yeah.
The person was like, yo, ain't nobody checking for that no more?
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
But for them it's true.
True.
Right. So it's like, you sound old saying it.
It's tragic.
But also, that's why we don't have a lot of relationships nowadays, because ain't nobody singing about how to treat a woman or how to treat a man no more.
Yeah.
So, back then it was a lot of romance and all that stuff, but now it's like, we can't figure out how to get a relationship because they ain't singing about that no more. They sing about F this nigga. I'm the side
breakups.
I'm the side girl.
Meet somebody new.
Yeah. But back then, they was like, even if you was a side girl, you was silent.
Yeah.
Even if back then, you was silent. Even like My Little Secret, Escape.
No, remember Barbara called Shirley?
Yeah, exactly. That too. When you think about August, I've seen it. It ain't secret no more.
Well, I can't wait to see that about that. We got a lot to talk about next week. August, we'll talk about that later, I guess. But No, I agree with you. I always, my famous line, I say, if it don't feel like 90s R&B, I don't want it.
Yeah. It ain't even thought out
no more.
I think also the problem is that all the music is so easily accessible. Like
well, you
now,
know,
like back in the day, you had to have money,
right?
Go to the
Get
store,
get a tape or
buy
a
a
CD.
tape. Before CDs, we had to buy tapes.
We had to buy tapes.
Even if you bought a tape,
Purple tape. Yeah,
go out there
you go buy the tape,
Yeah.
and even if you had a tape, you still had to have the Walkman or a stereo system to play it in. Now the kids got their phone.
Yeah, and this is my thing with that.
Accessible, where in our days it wasn't.
Right, and my thing is, music didn't come out as fast back then either. So, an album came out, you would get an album every 2 years, but they would like milk the timing, like this one single go 6 months and this next single, you know what I mean? So that's how things kind of stuck with you more. But right now everything's so microwave, like boom, single. Here come 3 months another single, like so it's like
and that's
you're over these songs and everything so much faster too, like. So it's nothing like a lot of these songs. You may have a lot of great artists, but a lot of these songs aren't sticking as classics as they probably could have been because they haven't had the room to like be around. So like, if y'all like, to be honest, so if y'all was to listen to Nicki Minaj, she has a lot of good songs, but I feel like it was for the time period. To me, I feel like Moment for Life was one of the ones that I feel like you could always listen to and relate to.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, I'm not sure. I feel like for that time period, they were great songs, but I don't know if now you want to go back and hear did it on them, and like, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to have that effect, I don't think.
I go back to her music because I listen to I'm very fair, like, so I'm very open to like, and I love like, and when I go back and listen to it, I'm just like, and when I listen to the music, I'm just saying like, it's kind of timeless in the sense where like people make accusations to say someone behaving a certain way because of this and that, but when we start to realize that sometimes people, this is who they are, but you know, they come into this light, or they come into this place where they sometimes have to like kind of walk on eggshells in order to be able to then later say, this is who I am. Like, so you have to give people respect in that sense. So I'm always fair. So I agree, like, you know, like I go back to Moment for Life all the time.
I definitely think that was
a really good
great
one.
song.
Like, a few other songs I go back and it's like, this is like, yeah, like she is that, like she's like, but you know, not just being a stand, but just being fair, just being open.
No, I feel like she has some songs that are good, but I don't feel like she has as many classics as she probably should because it's always you got to keep putting out more songs because people are hungry. So it's like you got to keep putting out stuff. So it's like you're not even giving this stuff time to resonate with people because I got to now throw out something next. So now they're jumping on this next. So it's like it's not settling like. But back in the day, those songs had to sit with you for a minute before you threw out another single.
You learned all the
But
words.
to me right now too, because of the internet, is a lot more artists that are able to put out songs. And then like, especially like the college kids, they always want to be the ones to be up on people first. So they go and discover them like, oh, I knew them back before they this and the other. Like, so it's like they want to be the first to kind of know them as well. So it's like, that's another thing. So it's a lot more different avenues of putting out music where you don't have to rely on labels as much anymore. So
it's like the age of like instant gratification.
Right.
Like, you know, everything they just want, like they want it now. And then when they get it, it's like, okay, good.
But once you get it, you're like, okay, but it's like you're not really accepting it as much, like, you know what I mean? Like, appreciate it as much, you know what I'm saying? You accept it, but you're just not really appreciating it, so then it's like, okay, you wanted me to throw out this project, and I rushed it for y'all, and then it's like, oh, yeah, okay, cool, what's next? Like, it's always what's next, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is definitely, in their head, I think they think they're playing chess, what's next, but they really end up playing.
But then you could get forgot about in this culture.
But that's why they always feel like you have to keep putting stuff out.
That's why they feel like
But
that.
like we forgot about Juneteenth. Can we rewind back to that real quick?
Juneteenth.
The Juneteenth thing. Because I had made.
Wait, she had a question real quick.
Oh, it wasn't a question. It was more like a statement.
Okay.
Because I felt like with the whole artist having to constantly put out new stuff and not letting you resonate within learning the lyrics, I feel like it's just a big comparison when it comes to Queen Bee herself. Like back in 2016, she dropped a whole album, like a whole visionary of Formation 2 days before tour. You know, like, so I felt like for some people like that, like, okay, if people can literally just drop a whole visual, I mean, this is Beyonce, of course she takes time to create all that stuff, but the fact that people can learn her entire album and be able to sing it to her at her own concert within 2 days. So I feel like that big comparison to other artists is like, okay, well, if she can do that, then I can do that.
That's tough for everybody else.
Yeah, but again, you're...
But she coming nice too, though.
Queen again.
But she's from the 90s too,
Yes.
so she still got that little flavor.
But that's what's influencing today for artists.
Yeah, they're doing that. And the same thing with like how Jay-Z doesn't go and write stuff down, he just goes and freestyles. So I feel like that impacts a lot of those guys, and I feel like they do a lot of their rhymes going in the booth without a pen and paper and trying to freestyle. That's what it sounds like. And you're just not as creative as him, and that's okay.
And they're freestyle this time.
That's why he's Jay-Z.
I said, hey, you're not.
You might want to write some stuff down. But go ahead.
No, back to the Juneteenth thing. I had made a post like, Juneteenth is kind of the equivalent of Jews celebrating Hitler. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not they. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if they would have the independent, yeah. Like, but then again, I was like, well, this is the country that we do live in, and then it's like, give me the day off. I'll still take that.
Yeah.
I won't celebrate 4th of July, but I'll still take the day off and I'll watch out fireworks.
So you think you should stop celebrating 4th of July?
So that was my question.
I'm in the middle. Because we still live in this nation.
Like they don't want to celebrate, but they still want the day off.
I still want the day
Of
off.
course, you want the paid holiday.
I have mixed feelings.
Yeah, I'm mixed with it too. Because I still live in
So
America, but it's like,
Because it's kind of like it's like questionable because it's like, you know, when we talk about like independence, like, you know, are we like actually independent and are we working towards the place of being independent, like, you know?
well, we independent now. I ain't no slave.
Well,
But Juneteenth was like when they realized they was out. But I feel like, I won't probably purchase no merchandise to support it just to let them know about the black dollar. But I wouldn't just ignore it. Like, don't go ahead and throw me a little steak on the grill.
They're talking about doing a blackout tomorrow instead of wearing red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
Red,
just
white,
black.
I saw that. I'm with that.
That's fine.
I'm with it
Can I
too.
say something?
Go ahead.
I like to in my everyday life, like, because I'm very like, I don't know, I'm weird a little bit.
Well, that's based on,
Yeah.
well, it depends on what you're based on, like,
So,
everybody's different.
We live in a place where I feel like, you know, we're all independent in the sense where we don't necessarily have to rely on a lot of these things that we can't really depend on. So I think that I do understand the importance of it, but I also do realize that there is a time where we may not have these things that we like love so much. Like, just not on the grand scale, just not as just being a person of color, but just being just a human being. Like, you know, I'm born and raised here, and sometimes like, I went to the beach. I didn't even know the beach was closed, by the way. But I saw, you know,
From the 3rd to the 7th.
so I saw cans and stuff on something like, you know, coolers and stuff left from like and the day before. I'm just like, you know, it's kind of interesting to see how we talk about this thing of instant gratification. How one day we talk about Earth Day, and the next day we
Throwing shit up.
we have things left on the beach, and like, you know what I'm saying, like for me to be from here and see people just can come here and just dispose of these things, dispose of their trash, and for people to look at, you know, people who are from here and like, you know, sort of like, kind of like, for me it's almost like, is it on a grand scale, like we have to almost like take a step back and look at what we're actually like, you know, upholding and the things that we actually value and we uplift. So I look at it in that sense. So.
No, I definitely understand where you're coming from, and I respect that, but we have to take a break. We could come back with it a little bit, but when we do come back, we have a guest in the building.
Yep.
Willy from Time 305 is his line.
Yep.
And we're going to come back and talk to him a little bit. Get a drink. This break is brought to you by Repent Hangover Cure.
Okay.
Nanotechnology. Let's go on. Let's go.
You did it.
Yes, nanotechnology. And put it like this: you drink it while you're drinking, or after the next morning, you just feel great. Like, don't leave home without that.
You bike.
Yeah, forget Advil and sunglasses. You gotta repent. All right, so we're gonna see you in 5 minutes.
Trade my 4x4 for GC3, ain't no more freeless Steve. I gave him chance.
Welcome back to Mac Meeka Live, y'all.
I thought it was minutes.
I was like, why is he steering them 2 seconds? That's when I was like, seconds. But yeah, no, so we have a guest in the building. Big Willy, come on.
Oh.
So we have Willy here with Time 305 clothing line.
Hello.
What up,
How
Willy?
you doing? Grab your mic.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, what's up?
Y'all good?
Yeah, we hear you now.
What's up,
What's
everybody?
good? What's good?
What's up, Willy?
So tell us about yourself. What's up?
My name is Willy. I'm born and raised from Miami, Little Haiti. I'm a
Come on in.
Well, I'm Jamaican.
Oh.
Yes, sir. But yeah, I'm a photographer.
Oh, you're a photographer too?
Yeah, I'm a photographer, but that's my craft that I do. And, you know, I have my own brand. And before we start, I brought y'all a gift because, you know, thank y'all for having me on.
I love
You got my
gifts.
size?
Well,
Yeah.
just check it out.
Okay.
But I love.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
05.
I appreciate y'all for having me on here.
Oh, this is dope. I'm gonna wrap this. So where can we find you on Instagram? Just we're gonna get into the line and where it all came from, but now that I'm showing the package.
Okay, so my brand Instagram is _time305, and my personal Instagram is I'm King305. And if you ever want to get the shirts or anything, I just got in Shoe Gallery, so you can pick it up in there.
Nice.
And yeah,
That's what's up.
That's
Making
dope.
moves.
So how long have you been doing this?
I've been.
And what inspired you to do this?
Okay, so one day I woke up and I just never went back to work. Like,
All right, explain this story. You get to say that and just explain this.
Okay, so I kept seeing the time 11:11 and 3:05 all the time. Like, and I know 11:11 it's like angelic numbers. That means like the angels trying to tell you something. So I just did it, and I said one day I was doing a marathon in LA, and then it just hit me to do a 3:05 on the shirt. And I posted it on my Instagram, and it worked. And
Don't try this at home, kids. I'm just playing.
I mean, it's
No, they can't. Everybody can't just don't come in without a plan. That's dope that you were able to do that.
I mean, I didn't have a plan, but I believe that if you have faith, you could.
You clearly stepped out on faith.
Yeah.
As you said,
Yeah, you could do anything. So that's what that was, and I'm here.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
and you did a marathon.
yeah. I did a 10K in LA.
You put your 2 weeks in?
Well, okay. So when I did the marathon, that was after I had cause when I quit my job, I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like I got dressed that morning, I just sat back down. I was like, yo, I'm not going back to work. And my mom was like, well, what you gonna do? Like you gotta go back to work. And I was like, I can't go back. Like I can't explain it right now, but I just gotta trust what's in me right now.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I went to LA, did the marathon, and yeah, it worked.
What type of work did you do?
So I used to count money for a casino. I did that for 5 years.
Okay.
And yeah.
Did you like it? That's why you quit.
Clearly wasn't fulfilling.
It's not even so much about the job, because I think I could do anything. It's just that I'm not a worker. I want to get up when I want to get up. I want to do.
You say you Jamaican?
Yeah.
You're not a worker.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I like to do my own thing. I like to. If I'm not passionate about it, I can't do it.
Right.
So that's what was my thing. I can't wake up every day,
And punch a clock and help build somebody else's career, so you want to start your own.
Right.
Yeah. So I was doing my photography, and I was working for a lot of artists.
You still do your photography, right?
Yeah, I still do my photography. But at the time I was working for a lot of artists, and I'm like, if these artists stop working or they stop doing shows or they stop doing anything, I'm out of a job.
Or like COVID where you can't really.
Right. So it's how can I still do my photography and still make money at the same time? So this what it was.
That's kind of important when people say make money while you sleep because you have a business. Can you order online too?
Yes.
So you can order online so you'll continue to make money while you're sleeping. Because a lot of people say that, oh, you want to do something where you're making money while you sleep.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm like, what I'm supposed to do? But that's one of the things, though. Yeah, you're selling things and people can order online while you're not even, awake.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what's your website?
My website is time305.bigcartel.com.
Okay.
So what made you come up with the name?
I just said it's the time format in time 305, and yeah, I kind of winged, I kind of just did what I felt and it worked for me. So it's I didn't have a plan, but You know, it's when it's meant to be, it's gonna be.
You low-key put together some type of plan to get this far.
Well, I mean.
So you mean at the beginning when you leave your job, you have a plan,
Right.
but you had to put some steps together afterwards to get
Right.
to where you are.
Yeah, so I just started like researching like Miami artists and everything, like, and I've gotten just off of DMing people, I got like Rick Ross, Young Miami, Dr. Miami. It's been on VH1. It's been on everything, like, and these people don't charge me, like they just do it out of the love.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So it's like
that's good.
It worked. Like
product placement.
Yeah, you
that's
gotta do that because that's what
you have to. Let's get it out there.
Yeah, that's what it's free marketing. Like you gotta do that because that's what helps your brand so people could
recognize it.
Because it's like, all right, I'm doing the 305. So now when people see 305 on their phone or they on anything, they gonna think of me and they gonna think of my brand. So yeah.
Do you plan on expanding, like 305 is like Miami area code, right? Do you plan on expanding outside of that? Like, do you have other
718?
Other stuff, yeah, or other stuff outside of that?
215
513 Cincinnati.
609 Jersey.
Yeah, like, do you plan on making other area codes to expand outside of Miami?
Okay, so I've thought of it. I actually like tried to do it, but it doesn't work because other area code, like Miami people scream 305 all the way. So if you in like Africa somewhere, you hear 305, you're gonna think of Miami. Like that's just something we built. So it's like I can't, not necessarily saying I can't do it, but it's like if I go to Africa, nobody not gonna know what 404 means. What we know is Atlanta, but you know what I'm saying? Like
how many shirts are you selling in Africa right now?
I haven't sold them in Africa yet, but
right, cause we don't know what that though.
No, I'm not saying that they don't know about it, but I'm just saying like 305 is just something that Miami people scream all the time, so it's in people's mind. Like, but if
all right, what we want to put in your mind is don't limit
yourself.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because you don't know what other cities are because you haven't really lived there.
Right.
So like 215 is Philly, 213 is LA. Like so, certain areas. People rep their city.
They really rep them.
You better go to Detroit because every time I go to an event and they from Detroit, they let you know they from Detroit.
I was gonna say in New York, like that's all they have.
In New York too, yeah. 718.
I think it's a good brand because I feel like, but just in general, like 305, I'm like hyped about it because like I'm from here, so I
right.
But I feel like for other cities too, just
right.
as our people, like you know, like that's such a good. It's such a good.
It is.
But I also want to know how you represent 305, like you know what I'm saying, like because everybody, I feel like it's a good way to like even 215, the people from Philly or New York or.
So I'm gonna give you an example. So when he's saying like how you represent, like maybe 3 or 5 you put palm trees, something to give you a Miami vibe or change, like the color can be more like brighter colors or something like that. But then each city can have like something like what they kind of stand on, like you know what I mean?
Right.
You know how like some cities are known for certain things,
right.
Like
Jersey's Brick City.
Brick City, but Cali you can have like. All kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? So, but I'm saying, I just feel like us telling you this could be another thing for you, just to start expanding and don't feel like you have to set a limit and say only 3 or 5 because 3 or 5 is only been so big. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we big.
We big.
Yeah, but Texas is huge. Right, so if you go to places, so if you go to some of those places too that they want to rep, they rep they said and rep.
It's crazy because I've lived in all of those cities that we just talked about, except, Dr. Nicole's talking about DC. I haven't lived there, but she's saying 202.
Yeah.
I've lived in Atlanta, I've lived in Philly, I've lived in, not Jersey, but New York, New Jersey, Connecticut is one way. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's where he's stuck.
That's where he's stuck, yeah.
Oh, because I'm from South Jersey, so
yeah. And then, of course, I'm from New York, and then I live in Texas. So, like, Georgia too, I said that? Yeah, so I'm like, all these cities, when we would be out, because I was always out in those cities, it's always like they rep their city. Like the urban culture, like when we're out partying, it's like,
they definitely rep their
and
city.
they yelling out parts that I don't know.
And like what I'm saying is like when people go on vacation and they go out of town, they rep where they from hard. That's why I said Detroit, because
Exactly.
I've been places in Detroit, be like, it's like a certain song come on, I'm like, who is this? And they be like, somebody from Detroit, and I be like, damn, like, I've been in New York do it big too. Like, New York gonna let you know they from New York. Like,
all the time.
but like, I feel like Detroit and New York gonna let you know they from Detroit and New York. Like, you know what I mean? Other places they gonna do it though, but they be like, we here, we from such and such, and like, they be standing on there like.
That's what we are.
It ain't 305 though.
Miami do it too though. And what's funny with Miami people is Miami people might not get along here in Miami when they get out of town though. We all cool until we get back.
I feel like, I don't know, it's such a we don't realize like, because people, all the cities in the States, people love coming to Miami. Like we love going to, we never realize how much we should appreciate what we have here.
Y'all don't, but other people do.
Yes, exactly. So when we go to other places, we meet the people.
that moves.
And the people, you know, people are just like us.
I wish I was there.
And we see that there's so much, so we start to appreciate things. So, you know, it's always like a...
I look at, because I'm not really from here, I'm from Jersey originally, so I always look at it sometimes like when I'm going over the bridge to South Beach and you just look at like the scenery and I'm like, I can't believe I live here, like, because growing up in Jersey, you don't see all the scenery, like, you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie, you said that to me one day. We were just on the phone randomly, and this is months ago, and this is in the middle of my run of, it was my first year, well, this is gonna be year 2, but it was early on in my first year, and I was like dropping my kids to school, and I was like, oh, I fucking hate this place. Like, it's hot as hell, even when you wake up, it's hot, it's muggy, like, it's just
I got used to it.
I couldn't even take it, and I swear, I'm on the phone with Mac about something, it's either the show or we were just talking about just random plans, and you made a comment about, yo man, you look up in the sky today, yo, ain't it beautiful where we live? Like, and you was like, sometimes I just go over the bridge, and you said that, and it started making me look up and like, yo, I really do live in a beautiful place.
Think about
like,
it.
what am I complaining about? Like,
right.
why am
like
I
you live in a
tripping?
place where a lot of people
You know
come
what I'm saying?
from
From vacation. So
Yeah.
I started, so my oldest was very mad about coming here too. So only my little one loved it. And so when she would complain all the time, I was like, I started using that line, like, look how beautiful it is. We live where people vacation.
Right.
And it really made us change our mindset. So
We don't see that though.
Yeah, because y'all from here. 'Cause you know what's crazy with y'all, like, that y'all from Miami, is y'all like to stay in the house. Like, oh, it's hot, I ain't coming till 5 o'clock. And they be like, you know, we from up north, we don't get all that sun. It's like 6 months, there's no sun.
It's a different climate on that side of the bridge. It's a very different climate on that side of the bridge.
I'm just saying in general, forget the bridge, I'm just saying the city period. Like, y'all don't like to come outdoors, like, oh, because the event going on, like, we'll be there like 5 o'clock. I'm like, my dude. I understand that, but y'all don't enjoy the sunlight, the nice weather. Like, this is what people like love, because especially if you don't come from here, it's like you don't have that from October, November, all the way to like May. You know what I'm saying? So that's a long period of time. If y'all lived up north, y'all understand how people from up north feel like. That's why I was like, what y'all mean? Like, y'all taking this for granted.
No, for sure.
Y'all are taking it for granted.
We do. We definitely do.
Yeah.
Because when I lived in Philly, I like the change. I lived in Philly for 2 years. I lived in New York for a year. But what I like is I like the change of season. Like I do too. Like whole weather, but what I realized is that
I only like fall.
I'm like
that's my favorite.
I'm a Florida boy. I'm Caribbean, so like, you know, my skin, I need the heat. Yeah. But after a while, you know, you get used to living in the cold. So when I found I had to move back to Miami is when I was like very dreadful. But I feel like when moving back to Miami, I learned to appreciate what I grew up with.
And y'all know when y'all be going out of town, y'all be comparing everything to Miami. I got a bunch of Miami friends, so every time we go somewhere, like, oh, because in Miami, it would have been, it's like, hello, we're somewhere else right now.
It's like, what the hell? Like, I got bedtime? Like, y'all,
2 o'clock, because it's close to 2 o'clock. I know.
that used to bother me.
Yeah, LA's like that too.
Every place is like that except New York.
Yeah, New York, Vegas, and Atlanta's like 3:30.
Atlanta's 3-ish. Like, there's some places. The strip clubs. Yeah, strip clubs.
I just want to know, like, I get the 305 brand, that's where you're from, so you rep that. But like, what's your mission? What's your purpose? Like, where do you see this going?
So my mission is to like use this as a way to unify Miami. Like he said, like we don't like unify like in Miami, like
here, but out of town.
Yeah, like so that's my mission, like to just unify. So when you see it, like it's like time 305. So like when you like Nike, just do it. It's like just do it, but it's like time 305. All right, it's time. When you see this, it's time. Let's go.
So my question is, why is that? Why is that a thing? Like I'm not saying like everybody doesn't get along, but when people don't get along, but when they're out of town, they're gonna get along and be like, we together. Like, but it's like, why is that?
Because everybody be against Miami.
We're not friendly. Like,
y'all gotta stop saying that. You know what? That's a lie. A lot of people be saying you're not friendly because like sometimes you gotta network with some people to get some business.
I know, but the thing is, so I'm gonna put it like this. I don't know how much you guys are familiar, but when I would go to places like, I remember when I first moved to New York. I was in New York for a year. When I first moved to New York, I tell people be like, where you from? I'm from Miami. Like, oh, Miami, this, that. You talking about?
They think about the fun. They talk about South Beach. No, when people say Miami, they automatically go to South Beach.
My cousin from New York, but they get so hyped about Miami. They talking about South Beach.
South Beach, yeah.
They're not talking about where we grew up. The thing is that the experience here is completely different from what you think that it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, for me, I didn't learn to appreciate the city until I left. Well, I remember I went to Berlin and I got a train ticket. I jumped on a train. I had a train ticket and they were like, "You're from Miami?" Ripped the ticket. Oh, we love Miami. I'm like, damn. Like, wow. Like, people come to the city because they love it. And
a lot of people come here for the energy. It's a lot of energy here.
But the thing is, like, but people, you know, it's a very different place from what we know.
Because a lot of people, like you say, go to South Beach, so that's what they correlate Miami as South Beach.
Yeah, but there's only such a small portion.
It's a strip, basically.
It's a small portion of what is actually the city. Right. So I think that people should actually, like, you know, you have to sit with people. The people out there are great. It's great. I love what it has turned into, like Wynwood. You know what? All these places. My auntie, you know, she stayed in Town Park for long. People stay in Cal City, all over Manhattan. And then I feel like what this city has come to is very interesting to see how it has grown and its growth in the direction which is going. So I love to see how I went to Philly. I was living in Philly for 2 years, and it seemed like, you know, how Market Street changed, how Chestnut.
What is it, Old Town?
Yeah, Old Town, but just how people are just so open to just like things, you know, just how, you know, this life. So you know, it's great, but it also is just like, you know, we have to time 305. Like, we also, it's our time too to stand up and say, this is our city. Like, this is what.
So how do you get people to do that? Because you know, a lot of people who come in here come from other places and start doing like the promotion, like promoters, like at Club Live, they're from other places. Like a lot of these promoters are from other places, but Miami, why isn't Miami standing behind Miami? I feel like a lot of people complain and then they say, I'm moving to Atlanta, and then it's like, but why move? Why don't you just make home better instead of trying to move?
That's what Paul Grayson was saying.
Right, but I think that people also have to look at the fact that a lot of times that people get to a point where sometimes you could try to fight, you could try to pull teeth and try to prove to somebody who you are and where you stand and what you do, or you can just stand up and you can just show them to see. And that's why I say time 305 is perfect. It makes sense, but also time 215, time 212, time 4, everybody get up. Like, you know, like it's time.
Because what you don't know is, like, you have traveling cities too. And like I said, Detroit is one of them, but DC is a big one. So you have a guy who has something called the DC Takeover that takes place here, which I've hosted. Meeka, you came.
Yeah,
I've hosted. It's a whole weekend here. They give back to the city. They do charity work. They do a whole weekend here. And the year I hosted was the 10-year anniversary, so that probably was about 2 years ago. They're about to have another one. Well, hopefully they'll have another one. They said in September. They moved in September. But you don't think they would all want to wear a T-shirt to let everybody know they're from the 202 and rep, you know, where they're from, like why they're here in Miami? And they have their whole little go-go bands and all that type of thing when they come here. But they come here, it's called the DC Takeover. And it's going on for 12 years. And it's a big thing. And they fill up venues and they have a whole weekend on their own.
We went to a club after that too, and they put out tables. No, we went to the club after, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And they had the tables on all the walls, like all of them. I was like, damn, they got some bread. Like.
But you have traveling cities too, so you have, when people have events, like certain like big people out of their city, they have events, people travel to wherever they got to, and Miami is one of the places, is their destination. It's called the DC Takeover. It's been taken for 12 years, But a lot of people in Miami don't even know. Like I bring my friends that's from here, and they be like, "Damn, I know what's going on." It'd be a nice event, and it'd be dope, but it'd be go. But the music is like more of what they want to hear, so it's gonna be like a lot more up north stuff.
DJs,
yeah, because they have their DJs, but it's dope though.
I mean, I definitely agree with what you're saying,
but cancel out everything
else. Yeah, he might not be ready to expand like that. He might.
I'm trying to force the expand, right?
I know we over here. I was about to say, I'm not trying to push this on
That
you.
leads to my next question.
Where are your shirts made? Are they made here locally in Miami?
yes, they are made in Miami. Actually, I make them. So yeah, so.
Okay, so you have your own company, so you.
Yeah, so I do everything. Like I make the shirts, I promote it. Like, so one thing about like this is, I get what y'all saying like about like making different area codes, but for me, this is my home. Like this is somewhere that I'm from. So like, even when I shoot models, like I'm shooting guys that have like the matted dreads, and like I don't shoot like clean cut guys. Like I shoot, you know what I'm saying? So
I gotta go dreads.
It's, for me, this is for my city. Like it ain't about the money. It ain't about I can make money. This about my city. Like
you put on for your city.
Yeah, that's all I want is just to put on for my city. That's it. Cause I could make money doing other things. Like I could.
But we're just talking about putting on for your city, but then growth will help you put on for your city even more.
You're right.
So just let us see. We're planting the seed.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we're doing.
Because you seem young too.
Yeah, we're gonna plant the seed.
Right. And how old are you? Let it grow.
I'm 29.
Told you he seems young too. So you gotta.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing Time 305?
A year.
See, so he's still
a year and like a few months.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you expand, it just get overwhelming.
Yeah.
So
right.
It's a whole different thought process to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's where it gets overwhelming. You really have to sit there and think about how you, especially since now you're producing everything yourself. Right?
So once you master the 305 level, then you can graduate on.
Your overhead is low.
Yeah.
Cause like I've traveled to Africa, I've been to Japan, I've been to Canada, I've been to all over the world, and I see these different things, like different cultures and different.
But when you travel to those cultures, who you traveling with? Because that's also a big key too. Because when you go to those places, if you go with the right people, you'll see a lot more. But if you're just going as a visitor, you're going to see the generic things. So that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Just like if somebody was to come to Miami, you'll want them to go with you because you feel like you show the Miami better.
Exactly.
So it makes a big difference who you go with too. Like you can travel there and say like, oh, I win, and I ain't see people. I didn't see people repping it, whatever. But it's like it depends on who you go with too. You know what I mean? So you can't like exclude that. Like, well, when I went, I ain't see. It's like, well, also who'd you go with?
Right. You're right. I agree. I don't know. I just feel like.
Well, what happened when you max out and then it's like, oh, I got all my then what?
It ain't no maxing out. Like
it's true too.
Well, then you'll have different lines and stuff too. Like
right.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so my goal is like not necessarily to make different area codes. My goal is to push my name after this gets in a good place. You know what I'm saying? Like because if I go and make other area codes, I would have to research these places.
And that takes work, and that's fine.
Right.
I get what you're saying, because people probably tell Jordan, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Right. And he said, I'm going to stick with,
Right, so, I'm the type of person, if I can't do it the right way, I'm not going to do it at all. I'm always do it the right way, so, yeah.
So we're not saying, like, do all these area codes at once, but it's like, get familiar with one, and, maybe we'll do this for 6 months, see how that goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, not like learn everything at one time so it doesn't like
I like the
make you feel overwhelmed about it.
I love it.
I like it too.
I love it.
But starting with Miami is okay.
I think it's such a cool like concept, just an idea, just in general, just thinking
Time
about
Miami,
like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just
you have to make sure you relay that message too throughout your social media. Like it's time to unite. Like it's time to like.
Right.
And when you put time, you can have a different slogan after time. Each like it's time to whatever. It's time to, 305. It's time. You know what I mean?
We got
like,
freedom.
how do you plan to get back to Miami with your brand?
Okay.
She asking all the good questions.
She came with the questions for
Oh, you're not from Miami.
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
understand your passion for your city,
Yeah.
but I don't have that. I'm not from Miami.
Okay.
So like just general statements like, you know, as a brand, I want to know what you plan to
Okay.
do, what you like, how you plan to contribute if this is your passion, you know.
Okay, so like, for instance, like I had came out with some masks. So what I did, I gave, like if I seen a homeless person without a mask, I gave them a mask. You know what I'm saying?
Like, would you ever consider doing something like 10% to put, is it Lotus House or something like
Oh yeah, like the proceeds go to
There's a lot of homelessness in Miami.
Definitely,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah, but when you start off as an entrepreneur, you gotta support yourself a little bit. Right. Then move on to that stuff.
Right, but yeah, for sure, I'll definitely. Cause
Maybe
like
hire some homeless to help you ship
Right.
out a package. Like, I don't
Right.
know.
Because I've been to the Lotus House, like I've did tours there and stuff, and I understand like what's happening in the city. So it's like that's why I'm trying to do what I can. So years from now, I could give back to my
Don't
city.
feel overwhelmed by our questions.
No, you good, you
I
good.
don't know the climate of Miami, so I'm just learning.
Where are you from?
All over the place.
Okay.
Starting where?
Yeah.
Born in Chicago.
Okay, Chicago.
Big West.
I think Miami is very interesting because I feel like being in other cities, I love how everybody, when I've been like in Philly, DC, y'all are like a lot like, Philly people are a lot like Miami people. But
A lot of them travel here. Philly and Miami for some reason there's
we
something.
all are connected and like we're all the same. So when you see that passion in another city, when you come back, you're like, okay, we gotta like, you know, that's what like, you know. So I feel like here, it's hard to understand like why, you know, we're so frustrated. Even the drivers on the street, they're so aggressive. You know, they're rough.
But
That's
here,
just the climate here. It's just, you
to
know,
me, I just feel like it's a melting pot. So you have a lot of people who learn how to drive who might not originally be from Miami, who are all here on the same road and have different driving experiences. So, right, so I feel like that's why the driving is like a little different here.
we all have to learn how.
No, you don't use your blinker. Don't use your blinker at all. I learned that. New Jersey. Don't use your blinker because they're going to speed up. Don't.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
No, don't use it here.
You gotta be aggressive. You gotta like, use your blinker.
Right, it's like they're going to speed up so you couldn't blinker, so it's like, don't use it, just get over.
They speed up so then you
They do. It's like that person was the person who was like, don't cut me in line at the what if I'm like
You can't be passive. It's not a passive city. It's not a city where you come and just be like,
right.
But that's like, quick question, like you're from Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
So in New York, we have a thing called the dollar van. Oh yeah, I think y'all call it
The dollar van, holla man, yeah.
Shout out to the dollar van. Meanwhile, that should be $1.75 now. They still call themselves a dollar van.
So I never understood why the Jamaican dollar van drivers drove how they did until I went to fucking Jamaica.
Right.
I said, holy shit, these are why these niggas driving.
Exactly.
Yo, they be whipping it, yo. I'm in yard, I'm like, oh, okay, this is where the dollar van get it from. You know what I'm saying? Far right.
Alright, y'all crazy, but we gotta take another break. Our last break. This break is brought to you by Toast Vodka. We want to shout out Willy for coming through. Thank you for the gifts. Yes. Check out Top 305, y'all. You know, I know I'm a support. I'm not from here, but I'm a support because I just love to support.
I've been here for like 21 years, so shit, I'm from here at this point.
Yeah.
More of my life been here in Miami.
That's the truth.
Shit.
That is true.
we welcome you.
At this point.
DJ O Blaze, what you said?
Yeah, I told you still wanna understand what happened. Rather be myself when people look. Your name need yo-yo. I'm doing cash, I don't need promo. I'm going to the high rise, I'm the fofo.
Welcome back to Mac Meeka Live. Where my homegirl at? They're trying to take my job. She's asking all the good questions.
Yeah, good question.
I don't know. Hopefully she comes back. I got a bone to pick with her this Welcome back, John.
What's up? What do you do?
Y'all laugh. No, what's up, though? How you doing? Thanks for coming out. There she go.
Yeah.
My new friend trying to take my job.
Trying
to come. Yeah.
Reporter, like you gotta, you good at the question.
No, we were just saying.
We need you at the red table.
I was joking, yeah. So I was joking, saying, oh, she got a couple of
We need you at the red table talk. We need you there.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I like her. She came with really good questions. But that's what we really like. We like her and the gentleman. I don't know where he went. You know, this young lady. Interact. And Brandon, you know, you guys will interact, and that's what we want. Not having them sideline conversations, giggling in the back. We have to ask y'all to leave. Y'all just got here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they selling banana pudding in the bag in case y'all want some.
It's actually almost sold out if it ain't already.
Oh, it's sold out?
It's sold out. Almost sold out.
Almost.
World famous Grandpa's banana pudding. Yes. But we want to apologize. We went over on a few things. So this last segment, we're going to kind of run through some stuff. But we still want you to chime in and give us your thoughts and all that, because that's what we do here.
All right, so right now we're on sports, right? So we have two segments left, sports and then trending topics. So right now in sports, we have Cam Newton is now been traded to New England Patriots. Oh, okay, you like that? Tell us why.
Because he's a black quarterback.
Okay. Well, he been a black quarterback.
He's from the Patriots. You know, Tom Brady's been there for years, so now he's going to show.
20 years to be exact. He showed that it's a system.
Yeah, and to give Cam a job. He didn't have a job before that. Nobody picked him up before that.
Right. So I'm friends with his agent, which is actually Venus Williams' agent. Carlos is from Cleveland. And Cleveland in the house, yeah. Ohio's in the house.
Yes, we never got. Carlos,
I didn't know that.
Oh, he just found out. That's his cousin.
Boy, Carlos don't know you.
That's his cousin. We gonna be asking Carlos about you.
Right.
He gonna be like, I dream of Genie.
So, I had a conversation with Carlos 3 weeks ago, and I was like, well, where do you think he's going to go? He was like, oh, we want him to go to Pittsburgh because they feel like, Roethlisberger is going to end soon. He was like, but maybe Atlanta, they named one other place, but then he ends up in New England. That's how you never know how it's going to go when it comes to sports. But I'm glad he has a job, and then, they're trying to compare his salary and all this other stuff, but he has a lot of incentives, so therefore, his incentives equal up to $7 million for 1 year. You know what I mean? But they're just talking about the base salary is whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, I'm pretty sure he'll make his incentives, and that's why they're incentives, to make you get to those goals.
Yes.
All right, so another thing I seen on sports trending was 18 professional softball players.
Yeah, they resigned, didn't they?
They resigned. The general manager for their team wanted to add Trump in a tweet and say,
audacity.
Nobody's taking the knee on our national anthem.
Yeah.
And them girls were like, hold up. And, we out of here. So they decided to leave, and as they should. Because what you didn't represent all of them or how they felt. So therefore they said, it's time for us to go.
See, yeah, I respected them so much for that because they walked away from, I'm sure they're under contract or whatever, but they walked away from their job.
I feel like when the players leave though, like, what can you do?
Nothing.
Exactly. So I'm glad they were united enough to not even stick together, or one person stay like, I need this chick. Like, it
was crazy because I think that they did it, and when you go back and read on it, there was 3 people did it right away, I believe, and then another person. But they all, it was a trickle effect, but. It was so great to see that somebody even had the courage to do it, because I feel like, especially with younger people now, it's like it's hard to.
Well, really, a lot of the younger people I feel like are
protesting.
Standing up.
They are out there protesting. I saw that, but it's hard for them to take a stand and walk out of jobs. I'm thinking that kind. Look at the NBA. They ain't.
Well, look at the NFL when the Kaepernick was kneeling. They wasn't really trying to kneel too much next to him.
Exactly.
Right. So it's like they're trying to do it now because it's okay. But when it wasn't okay, it was like, well, no. Like, I want to keep my job. It's like, everybody's not a leader.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So allow the leaders to lead, and everybody else will follow. They're not following 4 years later.
But speaking of Kaepernick, though, did you see that Netflix is going to come out with a series on his life?
I did.
Are you going to watch that?
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. Yeah. I mean, I have an understanding of, him being biracial, so I have an understanding a little bit of it. Oh, okay. But I still want to just see the life and just hear, from his perspective and both sides of his family and how they feel and things like that. So that's important.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm like, I'm excited. I'm glad they gave him that, because I know it's gonna be a nice check.
One thing about it is, God's gonna always bring it back to where it needs to be. 4 years ago, everybody thought, he's doing this and the other, and then he settled and moved on. And guess what? The same knee that cop put on that man's neck is the same knee that they brought back and they compared to Kaepernick. So he did his purpose, and he is being highlighted for it.
Sure.
You know, when everybody else feel like, well, it's over, this and no, it's not over.
I love it.
His purpose is probably different than football, and he's serving it. J.R. Smith is now with the Lakers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't see this?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Drop the bomb on it. Yeah, he's with the Lakers. So
he's with the Lakers for this coming July 30th. I think they're doing.
So he's back with LeBron.
Back with Bron.
Yeah, I mean, he might have had like a little mishap, you know, in that game.
Yeah.
Definitely probably was over it, a big mishap. But you know, I'm pretty sure they moved past it and had a conversation, and that's fine. So you know, I'm pretty sure LeBron has say like,
watch the score.
LeBron, you might bring him here.
Yeah, of course. No, they
sure bring him. Yeah, definitely.
Money too.
They gonna bring that man without LeBron like willing. So yeah. Yeah, let's turn these.
So also on side, she came late, so I know we gotta give it past. No, but and speaking of Lakers,
big conversation over there. Yo, what up?
might as well put them on speed. Listen, but speaking of the Lakers, you see the 2K21
Honor Kobe
cover,
Bryant, the Mama Forever
I like
edition.
all the covers, so I like all of them.
Yeah.
But I love that they did the.
And since we still in the NBA, we're about to talk about the commissioner. Adam Silver says that now the new COVID wave, the new COVID wave is may affect the reboot of the NBA.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it because I did.
Help me understand this, because that's more your space. The reboot, like, they're all supposed to play in one bubble in Orlando?
Yeah, it looks like they're all playing at the wide world of sports.
All the teams.
Yeah. They're all gonna play. But it's basically, I guess, in their eyes, this is what I'm assuming from reading it, trying to contain whatever. Like, you know, these guys are healthy, so we're gonna keep it contained. But I'm like, they're not going nowhere. They're not gonna interact with people at the hotel. Like, there's so much with that. I think they're really forcing everything. And I understand why. I mean, you know, the NBA, they getting their checks. Like, that's guaranteed when they getting their checks, rain, sleet, snow, sickness, and their health, right? Mm-hmm. So, in their eyes, it's like, well, we're not making no money because...
The owners feel like they're not making no money.
Yeah, they feel like they're not making any money. So
we're paying out, but we're not getting
back. So, I guess I see why they're doing it from a business perspective, but I just feel like they pushing it. Like,
everything, let me explain something. Everything is done from a business perspective. Like, opening back Florida up early and you know, you gotta remember Florida, Orlando, certain areas in Florida are like tourist attraction. So you gotta remember when COVID hit here, that was spring break. So that's a lot of money that's put into the city that they didn't get. I have friends who own clubs here. It's a lot of money that they still gotta pay the overhead. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of money that they didn't touch, that it's zero profit, it's zero everything. Like, so it's from them, and then you gotta look at people. I always think about everybody, like even the security, even the dancers. Like, y'all don't have another type of income. Everybody try to start selling NutriBurst until.
I know, I saw that.
OnlyFans. For a minute, I was like, NutriBurst on OnlyFans is bad one.
Yeah,
but then you had people speak out about NutriBurst wrong, so they got canceled. So the OnlyFans now, more people getting that. It's just a lot. Like, people have to find a way to make an income, and this is when you have to go back down to this. At this point, I feel like you have to go back to being a hustler and actually using your brain.
I was gonna say,
you can't use your body. You can't use a lot of things. So you have to actually use your brain.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, you see all of the girls that were hosting. Those are the ones
you can't host. Ain't nothing to host.
Yeah, there was nothing going on.
Show up and get paid to be drunk. Like, you can't. So it's like, I gotta actually think now. Like, what can I do? What can I sell? What, like,
couldn't sell lashes. They can't really do nothing because
it's COVID. I don't know if I want to sell coochie out here either. It's COVID. I don't want to get sick.
No, you can't sell nothing
from that or COVID. Like, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of things. So now it's like you gotta really think and like, okay, where's the safe way for me to make some money? And this time, I feel like 2020, a lot of people are like, oh, it's this, my vision clear. Yeah, it's making our vision a lot clearer because you're seeing a lot of things. You're seeing a lot of people what they really feel about you. You're seeing a lot of things of how it really is, how people really are. You're seeing a lot of real stuff. So when everybody kept saying that 2020 vision clear, your vision is clear. You're seeing that people really are surviving off of Instagram posts, all these stuff. You're seeing a lot of things. So it is what it is. But guess what? Now you got to actually be creative.
We was really seeing who really wasn't doing it the way they was saying that they was doing it.
I want to see if some of these people making all this money with OnlyFans at a certain point. I'm like, well, where to be purchased if y'all making $100,000 a month?
I mean,
I don't know. Just
that's crazy. But like going back to basketball, I see that they're trying to look at this. At least this is what I saw. Chicago as a second bubble. And I'm like, yo, y'all ain't even do the first bubble yet. Let's work on that and then let's see if that works. But I saw that they were like, I think I was.
But he just feels like with the commissioner with the new cases, he feels like it's going to just cancel the reboot now.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of the players were against the whole reboot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course, when they got their check, they were like, we good.
Yeah, but it puts a lot of them at risk too.
It does. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather stay healthy.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them, I mean. And I still see a lot of them do have their families around and like, you know, as far as parents in the same city. So it's like, okay, they're close enough. So even if they're not living with them in their house or whatever, they're around. You want to keep them healthy too. So it's
right. So then our last thing for sports was the NFL plans to play the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing before the first week.
I saw that.
Yes, the first week of
None of them white people know that song.
They gonna be like this.
They ain't never gonna learn that
but
song.
week 1 of the NFL, they plan to play that.
All of this stuff that everybody's doing is still, they're not doing what we need them to really do.
Black people know Lift Every
Like,
Voice.
you saw, what is it, what burger place or somebody, Jersey Joe's or whatever, they did a Black Lives Matter sandwich. Like, all this shit that people are doing, great, thanks. But that's not what we need to happen.
Right.
I seen on Instagram too, they said they know everything is said. Arrest Breonna Taylor.
But they don't really have nothing to, I be telling people like, these companies don't have nothing to do with what the Justice Department is.
Exactly.
So they doing their part, which we appreciate, but this is what we want done. It's like they trying to take our attention. Like we said earlier, black people attention span is not that, you know, we get off topic of, Aunt Jemima, August I see,
everything's commodified.
But then it's like, okay, let's get back to what we really need, you know what I'm saying?
But that's why I see a lot of Breonna Taylor Breonna Taylor isn't trending. Let's remind everybody too. I see
and
that.
I like that. And I like the anyways, Breonna Taylor. Like, let's moving on back to that, you know? Let's
people like, I got an OnlyFans now, but first of all,
Breonna Taylor's not trending.
You haven't?
No, they be like linked in the bio and it be something about Breonna
Taylor.
Okay.
I've definitely seen it.
No, I ain't seen that yet.
I'm gonna send you a few.
It's my birthday, Breonna Taylor.
See, I haven't seen that.
I've seen it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm glad. I want to see that get back.
So I mean, that was pretty much it on sports segment.
Yeah, but we have another guest here today.
We do.
We sold out of Grandpa's fame. I say world famous now because you've been all over the world selling the bread pudding, and it's a hit.
Banana pudding.
I can't wait. What I said?
Bread pudding.
Oh, my bad. I said I wasn't drinking today, guys. What's these damn 2 shots down my throat? Damn. But we have Brandon here, and I can't wait to take my 5 minutes. I have 5. My 2 to go home. Yes. You all sold out there?
All I got is
Unless that banana pudding wasn't good.
How many? How many you got
I
left?
just got 2 caramels left.
2 left. Damn. Ain't they got good?
Don't he like he sing R&B in the 90s?
Soul Child.
Soul Child. Bring the Soul Child.
You know, Soul Child cockeyed.
I was saying, I was thinking, why did you use that reference?
I thought that
It's the sunglasses.
Okay, I was like, damn, he had a crooked eye or something like that. Yeah.
But no, she always got that.
Yeah, he had a wandering eye. Yeah, okay. I mean, there's a few other people, Babyface.
No, he resembles that. I thought that too when you said that.
You ain't thought that, man.
I did.
I'm about to bring up some Google pictures. I don't even remember what music looked like. I remember the beard.
Just
I remember the
He's darker than him, but everything else gives you
I think he's shorter than him too.
whole night though. We just looking at like the appearance.
I'm going in like, nah, but we want to bring you up and thank you definitely for coming through and
Thank y'all.
bringing your world famous banana pudding.
So every time Meeka came on here and talked about going on her trip to Cincinnati.
I talked about it so much.
Cincinnati!
Yeah!
She from Cincinnati too.
Black educator right there.
What's the area code?
513.
What is it? 513.
I'm not mad at that. But I had so much fun. I talked about it for so long.
She did.
So this is who I was with out there. Me, Grace, Herb, we were out there and we just had a ball.
We had a good time.
They talking about turtles.
Ripple, like we had grippos, ships, like we had like earlier we were talking about going to different cities and not going with the right people because you don't really listen. Going out there, that's the one.
And you know what? Black people stick to the same cities. I swear it's Miami, Atlanta, and LA. That's it. I was like, you got
New York too. People go to
New York too, yeah.
Not really.
Mostly,
when I go to other places, I've noticed a lot of people don't come.
Yeah, they don't.
I
They're
like people go to New
and I'm
York.
like, oh, New York. They're like, oh, I want to go one. That's it. You've never been to New York?
I feel like a lot of people go there.
From them, I thought it was so regular to me.
We got to get out of that mindset of the same 3 cities all the time.
Yeah, I was saying that I've been to so many different countries and I've never really seen, well, outside of like going for a game and things like that, I never really saw the city. I want to go and like really experience different states that I've never. So it was great when Ohio became a topic because we got to see 2 states in one.
Yeah.
And we stayed in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I stayed in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Our airport is in Kentucky. Speaking of Kentucky,
Right.
justice for Breonna Taylor.
Anyway,
Breonna Taylor.
no, but we got to see, and you showed us the cities, like both of them too.
Yeah.
A little bit of Kentucky, but like really, you showed me.
Even the ratchet side.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all of it.
But they got the fight bad.
Everybody like the ratchet side.
But they got the fight real bad.
Yeah, so we saw everything. It was a good time. But thank you for that, and thanks for coming out here.
Thank you. And you know what? Every time I come to Miami, I always tell people it's 2 cultures to Miami. It's that tourist South Beach. Then you got the end of Miami. Yeah.
So we take you to Studio 183.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Own this shit. It look like we in Studio 183.
They do.
But that shit be like,
show me the real Miami. I said, ever since I found out the real Miami, I don't need to go to South Beach and that.
Right.
It's a good time.
It is.
It's a great time.
It is. No, but we're gonna keep you up here for some trending topics.
Let's talk about this banana pudding that you got back here that you sold out of though.
All right.
Oh yeah.
He was trying to make this shit earlier and I was asking questions. It was like,
don't talk about banana pudding.
Just know, I talk over it. It was like, I ain't trying to steal your recipes. I was just asking questions. And then you forgot a recipe and then was like, we had to go back and go get it. So
I know.
Got your recipe?
Well, no,
I was asking questions. He was like,
y'all don't got
too many
questions. That Kroger down here.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
he had a list of supermarkets. I'm like, that's not here.
Yeah, Kroger's, that's like California
Atlanta,
Tennessee.
Yeah, it's just not in Miami. And then Publix expensive. I'm gonna charge y'all more than that.
I tried to go home.
Yeah, we did. They was rude there, but
oh god,
I got what I needed.
All right, so trending topics.
All right, let's get to it.
So one thing off the trending topics I seen was the Black Lives Matter protest did not impact the COVID. So you guys know that.
Yeah, they said it was
Beaches and bars. You got to remember, like when you go to a bar and you start drinking, you let your guard down and shit. You start talking closer and you like shit. You let shit down. Like the more you drink, shit. If you on a diet and you get drunk, you like fuck that shit. I'm gonna eat whatever I want to eat, and then tomorrow I be like, damn.
You don't eat pork. You know what I mean? You get drunk.
Yeah, word. Because I was vegan, and then last week they had pizzas here, all that cheese. I was like, let me get another slice.
Right.
No, all that shit go out the window.
But I'm glad that didn't, because that would have been an excuse like, oh, all this Black Lives Matter.
And this is why I didn't spread it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm glad it didn't. And then we celebrated Juneteenth really big.
Well, you know, I had I don't know, looked at your live FaceTime. It's like I don't know if y'all social distancing at all.
Wait,
Wait, it was a guy. You remember we had did a show and we talked about a guy in Cincinnati. He was having parties or something like that.
Yeah,
remember
at his house, wasn't it?
Or somewhere he was orchestrating. He got locked up.
Oh, Cincinnati. Yeah, downtown. OTR, the light skinned dude.
Yeah. He was like on the club sale. So he was like somebody we talked about.
It was jumping. It was jumping.
Just ignoring it.
They ignore everything. As long as they gonna party.
Put the chains on the door. Put the chains on the door. Nobody coming to Cincinnati. Is that the attitude y'all had?
I think y'all numbers are low too, right?
Yeah, it's crazy because we not one of the states that have, and they're
booming, right?
Yeah, they pretty mad because they be like, don't go to Florida, don't go to Georgia because they got high numbers and y'all bringing it back here. But our county is kind of high. But overall, Ohio's not high as it should be. Okay. But our county kind of high. You get that wrong.
Damn. But I mean, they said that the protesters, the spread was not affected by the protesting, which is great. But then why now? Why are we doing? Did you hear that they need permits now to protest?
Permits to protest?
Yeah, that's how they trying to. Yeah, permits. Didn't y'all hear that?
Well, it's
from now on,
we've been needed a protest. I mean, a permit for real.
To protest?
Well, they're saying that. I think they're really trying to solidify it now and make it known, because after that, that's going to be a reason for them to grab people up. That's what I feel like.
Well, the Klan always gets a permit to protest, to walk and stuff too. That. So we really actually, they was being lenient on us by not, making us feel because you're supposed to always.
Today years old. Yeah. When I learned that you.
Well, definitely today years old.
Yeah, you always supposed to get a permit. That's why the cops be so angry. I'm like, that's why back in the day with Martin Luther King, they were so strategic. They got the permits. They got what they needed to do what they needed to do. You know what I'm saying? Because they were smart. Now we just get in our feelings and we like, let's march. We gonna organize. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be strategic in what you do and organized and lawful in what you do. So.
Okay. So I don't know who the event coordinator is, but they gotta make sure that
and that's the thing too. We don't even know who is the head.
Because they just you see the
you just see it on Facebook and it's like, Speaking of that, have y'all seen any people from the hood? I have not seen nobody from the hood talk about injustice or the marches. I have not seen nobody from the hood actually in the hood talk about any of this stuff. So I'm like, we marching for y'all and y'all not even talking about it.
And Mason
building. But yeah, I have not seen nobody from the hood even talk about injustice or nothing like that.
I think people in the hood are kind of scared of even going out there to protest.
Right, they might have warrants and shit.
That's the thing.
They're scared to even go out there and join it because look at that.
Listen, Megan Thee Stallion, you be on point.
but then again, you can't.
She look like Meg.
Outside of the hood, go out there because they know their rights. They know what they have. They know what's going on. People in the hood are scared.
But you can't look at nobody and say they got a warrant. But then again, I was watching, and this police officer was like, "Is that Brandon Cardell?" I said, "What in the? I can't even loot if I wanted to."
Where you know me from?
Yeah.
Alright, being a man, a black man being on probation right now, right? I basically felt like I really wanted to go out there and, show my face and do what I do for the culture. But I ain't about to get arrested. If I get arrested, well, I'm facing 5 years in prison. I ain't about to go to prison for that shit. Hell no. I'm sorry.
You make a big sacrifice.
You make a sacrifice.
You know what I'm saying? But I think it is. It's sometimes worth it.
If people have situations, then they're not going to go.
But have you been talking about it on social media? Because even my cousins, they still talking about money. You do got a platform.
But I take the time. I at least take the time to uplift and understand and help the next person to understand what is going on in the situation that we in right now in the country.
So you at least understand.
Yeah, because I'm a leader. Because
there's some people in my neighborhood, I'm like, do y'all even know what's going on? Even when COVID happened, the first day they shut down Ohio, they were still outside on the porches and everybody was together.
Well, listen, all right, but at the beginning of the COVID, at the very tippy top. So when it was like, this is coming here. I was like, shit, all this shit that came in, SARS, all that shit, we ain't never, I don't know nobody who got that shit. You started knowing some people got it, I was like, this shit real. This shit ain't playing.
Yeah, because you don't never hear in the hood you don't never hear people that died from COVID.
Right, but now you started hearing like.
But then a lot of things that took place that every 2 years there's always something that comes that you just never, like you hear about on the news, but you never seen. This is the worst ever. Like we've never experienced.
I've never experienced anything like that.
Right, so this was the worst ever. So at the beginning, I was like, nah, but then when I realized people were getting it and people were dying from it, I was like, oh shit.
Well, that's true, but then you realize at first everybody was dying from it. Now you just got to stay at home for 14 days and you cured. So it's like, is the government lying? Like, why is everybody dying at first and now ain't nobody dying? You just got to stay.
No, people are still dying.
They still dying, but like but at first it was like, they was like, oh, 15,000.
I think we have to be careful all the time.
You haven't seen the videos of the body?
Be careful and be mindful of that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You ain't seen the videos of the body?
That's what I'm saying. At first, yeah, it was all these videos, everybody dying. Now it's just like, stay at home for 14 days.
It's something like we're naturally coming up with like antibodies that help it not be as harsh. That's what they.
That's true. That's true.
You know, saying it's not as many people dying though, for real.
But once it's out there too, I feel like you start to adapt and start your body starts to just get different immune systems because people have different strands of it, so it's not that as potent. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a lot of different things with this.
Well, what do you think about the long-term effects that they say that it's been having on people? Because I've heard that they've had like that now they're discovering different things that they're developing now that they put more study into it. What do you
like
think?
what?
Like.
I read something the other day that said about like brain damage. So I don't you know, so it comes to another level where it's sort of how do we protect ourselves just like as
just with some of that though, it's like we don't know the credibility of the person who's saying that. Like some of the things it's just like to scare you because you know you control people with fear. Sure. So a lot of things I feel like we getting people to get vaccines and stuff. Vaccines is control people through fear. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get the vaccine, but it's like, but I seen a lady on the news that was on the page who was saying, we need more African Americans. It's like, no, we're not testing dummies or guinea pigs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, you need more African Americans to get tested. Like, you can just test anybody. Like, you know, more people of color. That's just the word she used. But it's just like, just test whoever you're going to test. Like,
but did you see in Africa when they
have a whole protest against it.
When they sent those tests to that country in Africa, that the president he tested fruits and goats and stuff,
and they was coming positive.
That's what positive. Yeah. So and then I one of my homeboys he tested.
But no, I'm not talking about I'm talking about the vaccine though. Right now they want people for the vaccine.
Oh yeah, we not testing
people of color to do it. So everybody's like,
I'm not able.
Like, why would I do it?
I ain't able.
It's because you want to experiment. It's like we don't have time to.
We always been experimenting. We always been. Look at Tuskegee. We always been experimenting. But now we getting smart. So even when they used to have like free blood drives, they was experimenting then too. You know what I'm saying? But we got smart. We ain't you ain't no test them. Even Africa. Hey, I ain't gonna send it over here no more. Do it over there in Europe when they was hitting hard. That's another time.
All right. So another thing was in the news, especially for a lot of people that's from Miami. You had the Miami Gardens, a police officer who got 4 counts of battery and 2 counts of misconduct for tasing a woman in her stomach and had his knee on her neck when she was outside of Tootsie's. And she was pregnant. She lost the baby too. Yeah. That happened actually in 2019, but for some reason the tape just resurfaced now.
A lot of things are resurfacing.
Yeah, and then you also had the Miami PD who punched the lady in the face at the airport because she was late for her flight and she was going back and forth with him, but then he punched her in her face and then said, she headbutted me, like, but we clearly, I don't know if they even contacted Meeka.
She did. That video, she clearly was up on
I don't care what nobody say.
But she didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve that. No, that's not a headbutt.
She didn't deserve it.
She didn't deserve
that motherfucking punch.
She ate it.
She did.
That shit ain't.
And she was like this, still standing.
And then they had to knock, they had to push her down after that.
Like,
ate that shit.
Yeah, that was ill. I don't think. Yeah.
But he club punched her. Like that was a whole man.
Yeah, that was the force behind it. You just saw it. I was like,
I thought she was going down.
I definitely did.
When she stood up, I was like, oh shit. She ate that shit. She ate that shit. I was like, wow. I said, this
but
up, but
that was.
It was fucked up.
And it make you think like.
Well, he's been relieved of duty.
What does that mean though? Because they be relieved of duty and go to the next. They be relieved from Miami, but no. Then they go to Fort Lauderdale. Then they go to other places. Because you know that. Let's bring it back to Breonna Taylor. So one of them officers moved from Louisville to Cincinnati and started at Evendale Police Station, which is a village within Cincinnati, which happens to be the same place that when Timothy Thomas got killed in Cincinnati by a cop, they hired him also. So they got two people that have killed African Americans on the same force. And I said, well, if y'all was gonna loot somewhere, that's the place y'all should have been looting. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I don't want to use loot, but you know.
I know what you mean.
Right.
Being destructive.
Yeah.
So we have two more topics. One is we've seen a lot of Caucasian couples pull guns out on people. So
you see a lot of black people pull guns out on people too.
But I guess they've been filming it though, so that was one thing that everybody been filming that. So, well, how do you feel about that, Brandon?
Karen.
I feel like I just feel like everything is just going haywire right now. You know what I'm saying? Everything is with color too. Like when you see those captions, they purposely put white lady pulls gun.
Yeah.
But then you don't know what the black family did either. Like where it's like, okay, listen, because then you could be in the hood and the same thing could happen. But do you put black man pulls gun on black man?
That's because it's always been a stigma.
That's true.
But was she
always
with
been a stigma.
But was she with his husband?
Always.
She was with his husband, right?
She was with
So why did she pull out with the gun, not him?
But
he had it in his hand.
He had his hand.
I think what happened was
both
the full video was that the full video that surfaced was that the she bumped into them and it was a mistake, and but people that she just had continued to just antagonize her, and it got to the point where she just got flustered.
Flustered enough to pull out a armed weapon and kill
but
somebody.
to the point where she thought her life was threatened.
Yeah, but what happened when somebody pull out a gun on another brother and be like, yo, bro, you know what I'm saying?
All I know is if you pulling out a pistol on me, I'm gonna fucking kill your ass.
Well, see, I want to go back to the point that you made that we don't see what's going on sometimes. So we saw what was going on because there is another video where what happened before that, and in that particular situation. But there's another video, we didn't post it, but there's another video going around. It was on one of my new favorite IGs to follow, Karen's Going Wild, right? Yeah, but it was this, and I saw it on the Shade Room after that too, but the caption to me wasn't right. They were like, the white lady, they were at SeaWorld, and the black girls, and they had kids with them. The white lady was calling the cops on them, and in the caption it just reads, call cops because they were standing too close. But in the video, as I'm watching the video, the lady's on the phone with the cops, like just, whatever, I guess she's talking like, yeah, I'm at wherever she's at, and the black lady's yelling, and you clearly hear her say, yeah, I pushed you. Okay, I pushed you, yeah, because you taking pictures of my kids in a bathing suit. I don't know if you a pedophile out here, this a whole COVID, situation, you too close. So yeah, I pushed you. So clearly the woman called because she felt threatened at that point. They were loud, they were wilding, right? So I can see her probably being scared, that's why she called. But to me, that wasn't even a situation to call the cops either. Like, ain't nobody bust you down.
See, that's the thing with the Karen situations. Like, some stuff you could talk about, and then some stuff is like, why did you even call the cops?
Yeah.
And you know what they're gonna try to do. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like people trying to weaponize the cops against me. Yeah. Like, so don't say, well, I'm calling the cops. It's like, now I'm supposed to be scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I mean, this Karen thing is kind of going, I mean, we need a couple Karens, because some people just do some stuff where it's like, okay, bro. But then again, like some of the stuff, it'd be like, why did you even, you know what you was doing.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Karen's gonna call shit like Rosewood.
That's true. And Emmett Till. Yeah, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I am glad about, that America as a whole is focusing on the white woman, because the white woman has caused a lot. White woman tears is a real thing. You know what I'm saying?
But you realize what's what they do when they get on the phone?
Yeah, every time. They pull those tears and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
And then we gotta find where their fears stem from.
Right. Yeah. So for our final subject for tonight is Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, and artist Alcina. And I'm going to add Tisha Campbell, because she posted something that was very subliminal, but then came back and said, "Oh, I wasn't talking about that." But she was capitalizing on Will, like Will come to light, Will this and other. So it was like Dwayne Martin was your ex-husband. And he was part of that circle. So let's just get into it.
Can we recap? Because I haven't caught up on that yet.
Oh, you haven't?
Oh.
Somebody want to fill her in?
August Alsina.
Us in.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Well, August Alsina, artist, you know, he came out, and for a long time, you know, years ago, we saw that he was very close to Will and Jada and the whole family. We see him a lot, and everybody speculated, like, why is he even around them? It's like a little brother or what?
Nobody could understand the relationship.
It was just weird because he wasn't even with the kid. He's younger, but he's not the kid's age, you know? It's just weird. So everyone speculated, but, you know, that died down. No one talked about it. And just a couple days ago, August comes out and says that he had a whole relationship with Jada. And the second part to that is that Will gave him the blessing. Like, he was okay. Like, he gave him his blessing. It was and the third part of that, to top it all off, when Will and Jada both denied it, you know, through their publicists, I guess they denied it. He comes out now and tops it all up and says, right, it wasn't no surprises here. I gave everybody
phone
heads up.
calls. He said he gave everybody
told
phone
everybody
calls prior to him speaking on it. But then also, Jada also said, I'm going to bring myself to the red table.
Because there's a lot of healing.
There's a lot of healing that needs to go on. So it's a lot of things that are being said. It's like, well, we don't understand what's going on because...
I'm excited to find out.
Well, me personally, I'm going to say, whatever y'all's situation is, that's y'all's situation.
Exactly.
Like, it's not a group project. That's your relationship, so y'all have understanding. So I feel like that's where it should stay. Like,
I agree, it should stay there. But I'm excited to know.
I trust her.
But wait, August Alsina has been exposed, and if y'all ever paid attention, he had a song where it was like he had Jada. He showed the messages in the song. The whole time it was like
that's a video. That he had a video.
Yeah, but it was the video. But it was the messages. Have y'all seen that? It was the messages. You seen it, right?
What's the song?
I don't know. It was, wait. But the video had Jada and him messaging each other. Yeah, and she was like, "Why you like you know?" Because she let him know. No, it was real. It was definitely real. It was just real stuff. Yeah, and then he denied it. This would make your credibility not so good because he denied it.
Credibility.
It was like, is that Jada? And then it was like, no. He was like, no, it's not Jada. No, but then it was Jada because then now he brought it back out again. Like, well, listen, is anybody gonna listen to you? Because now you said what Jada?
No, if you really look at the thing, he was saying like he just felt at a certain point like, let me just own this because people was getting on him and never acknowledging what the situation was. I don't know what the situation is.
Well, that's Hollywood for you. They're weird anyway.
I mean, we've heard that about Will and Jada for years. I know everybody's heard this open, swingers. And
half of y'all probably swang too, so like don't see him.
That's what we're saying. Like, we're not judging. That's what we're saying. I believe it. I can't wait to hear him.
But why did he wait
It's not our business, really, though.
But why did he wait to expose it?
Juicy.
But you know he was pressured. He was kind of pressured into like he was asked those questions like that's not why he was there.
He could have avoided.
Yeah, right. He did just drop an album.
Then he went around and he did drop an album and the documentary, but he's not even talking about none of that in none of those projects.
But you have to also remember his past with his mother and all that stuff too. So because what's so funny is I've never paid attention to the man, and I was on like YouTube. And then I forgot her name. It's a page I follow on YouTube. She did something on August Alsina. She was talking about like how his childhood was, because it reminded me of my childhood. And he was like the church was his refuge to get away from home. Then his mama kept bringing like crackheads around. She was never really in his life. If you ever look at it like pictures now, it has him kneeling to his mama. So I think Jada was like that older woman figure that he followed.
I hear people say that she took advantage of somebody that was being vulnerable.
Well, you don't. When you being nice to some people, you don't even know that when you being nice to some people, you don't know what the effect is on them. You know what I'm saying? It's up to them to receive it and take it how they want to take it. Because you could just have pure intentions and then they could be like, oh, I really take to this person. You know what I'm saying? True. So I think he really looked to her as a mother figure. But when you lack something, you look for that thing. Like when girls lack fathers in their life, they always look for the father they didn't have. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what he did with Jada. Look to the mom, but then it turned sexual in Hollywood. So he.
It ain't Hollywood, it's just in general. Like
it's definitely Hollywood.
I think it's crazy that it's weird when it's a woman, but when you switch around, you have never like anybody in Hollywood.
Well, if it was a man, it turned around Hollywood, it would have been different. It would have been publicized totally different.
Yeah, because he was young.
Way younger, it would
Right.
But he was still over 18.
But the thing is, but wait. Let me explain something, because we're not going to just say, oh, if Will was doing this or she was doing it. He was over 21. Exactly. But you had Hugh Hefner, who had a lot of bunnies that was underage too. So let's put that out there too. So let's not always try to kill us. Like, come on, like it takes place.
Right. Okay.
However, they're grown. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're over 18. He was over 21. You know what I mean? So we're not going to keep saying like, oh, they was wrong because he was so much as the age difference. Legally, they're grown.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So I feel that there's so many things happening in the world right now, and we have to remember that there's something very big happening that we all need to look at and we all need to take into consideration, because we all have to realize that we all play a part into it. That Jeffrey Epstein and someone who's connected with him very well has
Connected who?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Connected who?
Trump.
Connected to, no, Jeffrey Epstein.
No,
just
but that's
someone
who's he connected to?
The woman.
FBI.
Yeah.
That they
Okay, because no, we just said to them. So
She was saying that was connected to him.
I don't know her name.
It was Guillaume.
Oh, yes, but these things are important, because we have to also remember that there are things that happen that we don't see happening in front of us. You know?
Right.
So we also have to think of the world and our movement as a collective. It's not about just the color of our skin. It's about the people, about humanity, about the strength and the power that we can move with, and that what we have and what we need to think about and what we need to take into consideration. Because we all seen the '90s. We know what the music was about. We know what
R. Kelly.
We know what they were. Whatever. R. Kelly. Yeah, I know, but he's part of that trash that has set the premise of what we live in this day.
Yeah, but I don't think their situation was quite
right.
Like.
But what I'm saying is that we have to look at things that are big and that are in front of us, and we also have to be real about what is happening in our eyes. And we also have to look at things in the light that is truthful. And if we're going to speak about these things, to speak about them in the light and to speak about them in truth. So when I'm speaking in the sense where I don't know where these words come from, but I know that something has been moved that should not have been moved, something has been touched that should not have been touched, and that you will feel the wrath of what is meant to be felt. So I think that when we talk about these things, let's talk about them in realness, and let's talk about them in life, and let's talk about them in truth, because in the end, when we have to stand in front of the Creator, he
ain't gonna ask you about nobody else except you.
He ain't gonna ask you about nobody else.
Exactly.
But he's gonna ask you.
That's why we try to tell people, stop judging people.
He's gonna ask you
because he ain't gonna ask you about, well, what's such a thing down there? He's gonna ask you about you.
He's gonna say, what did you do? How did you stand? How was you standing up? How was you holding up yourself? How are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah, but see, that's why we don't know, because Jada says no and August says yes.
Well, but what Jada and August says has nothing to do, because whoever paid August to say what he said in the time when this man Shane Dawson was going like this to an 11-year-old Willow, no one said anything. So when we start to ignore those things, we need to think about these things in light and think about them in light and in truth and in the grand scope of things in the world that we live in today. What our music has turned into, what our people have done, what we talk about, what we think about, how we have denounced humanity in every sense, not just the color of our skin, but everybody, the Latinas, the Latinx, the ones who are Mexican, the kids in ICE. Let's think about these things in light. Let's think about them in the grand scheme of things, because it's not just our fight, it's the fight of humanity, because these people are animals.
We definitely get that right. You gotta stay on topic too. So, yeah, that's definitely true. But
Diablo en español, devil. Diablo, I speak Spanish.
Because you live in Miami, you think you can speak Spanish?
I think that shit better Jersey.
Hey, look.
We actually have to wrap up, so we're gonna take this one last comment, but we have to please make it quick though, because we gotta exit the building.
I heard this man talking.
Last. All right, he wrapped it. Okay, so he stopped. All right, so but we want to thank you guys again for coming out. Coming to chill with us for a little bit. Shout out to our guests, Willy, Tom 305, Brandon, Grandpa's world famous banana pudding, DJ L Blaze. Thank you, love you.
I'm gonna take a picture.
Oh, we gonna take a picture. All right.
Yeah, I'll wait till I get you.
All right, y'all. You still play music.
beat.